Great rising, great being, great ending, depending on what part of time this reaches you. I hope everybody doing good. I hope everybody in good spirits. If not, I hope this video will get you there. I don't even know where to begin with this testimony, but I just know the topic is master manipulators and how to keep an eye out for them and how to be mindful with yourself to make sure you're not holding some of these characteristics that eventually can become, the downfall, not just for yourself but for others. Because I made a video to get togetherness. Make sure you go check that out. In that video, I told everybody that we have to start taking care of each other regardless of what our indifferences is, and the only way to get past those things is if we heal and move past them. So one of the things that kind of could conflict a person from being able to be in their headspace and a heart space to be able to do that is how we do each other, how we hurt each other, how we treat each other, more importantly in this day and age, how we use each other. And a lot of times how we get used is through manipulation, whether it's false identity, whether it's false intentions or ill intentions, or just trying to make people or in situations or relationships beneficial just for self and not really caring for the other. So I'm not gonna name names. I don't do that, especially on this channel. But to give an example, I always try to use my life as the thing to reference, which is how I kind of keep it as my testimony, because I'm not perfect and everybody's walk of life is different. Everybody may not resonate with this. Everybody may not comprehend or understand this, or everybody may not accept of this. But master manipulators, I myself have been guilty of being like that. I myself have been guilty of being a narcissist or showing narcissistic traits, and being very self-driven and very prideful and very all about me, at times even a little too self-righteous. And a lot of times, for me, when I was really younger and I was more darker, and not my skin complexion, but more so within my spirit, within my soul, I knew what I was doing. But I can also be honest and say there was parts of times before that darkness that I didn't know what I was doing. And it was that moment where I can reflect and realize that, hey, maybe I was so easily able to accept and accept that darker side of myself and that darker those darker personality traits or those narcissistic ways, just to get what I could get. And that was because I was conditioned to that point. I was already conditioned unknowingly of being, survival driven and always thinking of myself and not, how I do to others, just growing up. So when I came of age and, you start having experiences where you get hurt, or, your emotional side is tested, your mental side is tested through life, you start to adapt and you start to build these barriers or these things to protect yourself. So the way I did that was I made sure I was more in control of the downfall of things before anybody else, which again is what made it so easy for me to accept the dark side, especially in relationships. I would cheat. I would always have a backup, which would, again, that's because I felt like I'd rather be the one to hurt somebody before they hurt me, or if they hurt me, I got you first type ordeal, But at the end of the day, to be honest, that's some very sick stuff. Is you could just leave a person alone. You don't have to be a master manipulator just to benefit and get what you can squeeze out of a situation or a person just cause. And that's a lot of what I did. I've also been on the opposite end. I've been the innocent one, where I was the one who was manipulated in multiple ways and used and tricked, or whatever you want to call it, that, you know, eventually built so much trauma within myself that I end up carrying on down the road, which I couldn't forget. So it stuck with me emotionally and mentally, which then again is the conditions that helped me accept when I was the manipulator or that narcissistic energy. So just be careful of that with yourself, because at the end of the day, we all are on this journey and we all have been through something. And a lot of times, all of us are being conditioned by our experiences by the time we run into each other and encounter each other at whatever stage or point of life that we're in. So, you know, sometimes instead of just always holding a grudge and allowing that grudge to continue out through your life onto people who had nothing to do with that, it's time for us to deal when faced with these things so that we can heal. And the more that we can heal, we can allow others to heal. And the more that we heal, the more we can understand. And the more that we understand, the more we communicate. And the more we can communicate, the better things will be. So yeah, if you're on that end of that, you know, if you're dealing with a master manipulator, first and foremost, I'm gonna tell you to pray for them. Because again, they may not know how they are or what they doing, and or they may know, you know, but either way it go, that person needs help. And sometimes it's outside of the arm's reach or the hands that we can help them with. And a lot of times I feel like we get caught up in these situations like that, you know. It almost remind me of Blueface and what him and his lady deal with and go through, you know. Like, he wants to help her, he sees her and hurt and wants to help her, but it's like you can only do so much. A person has to help themselves at a point in time, and if they choose not to help themselves while they continue to be a certain way that's toxic or that's wrong or that's not healthy for, let alone themselves, but not just themselves, but for a relationship, that's a form of manipulation, because you're forcing a person to deal with the parts of you that you're not even dealing with. And see, that's where we hurt each other. That's where the traumas come in. You know, at some point we have to find a place to stop. We got to find a place of where, you know, let's put a hold on this, let's adjust, let's fix this before we continue to generationally pass these things on from, you know, family to family, you know. And that's what I feel like, that's what, you know, a lot of what the race and slavery was about. Just a lot of things tied to these master manipulation tendencies and, you know, very narcissistic traits. Now I'm gonna stop using narcissistic because a lot of people use that loosely, but I could be honest with myself and know that I had some of those traits and I was that's the only reason I bring it up. But to stick to the master manipulator tendencies, a lot of times these people contradict themselves and they want to be in a sense of control of others because it helps control the reality of themselves. A lot of us get so caught up in trying to prove ourselves to other people or to prove ourselves to ourselves through other people that we are completely blinded by how we're hurting other people and how we're lying to ourselves and living in a delusion and an illusion. So just like in the divine conscious effort Newest Testament, you know, the sickness is illusion. Illusion is the thing that gets us all in a funk. And you know, when you can break free from that illusion, you can realize when you're being a master manipulator or you're being or you're dealing with a master manipulator. You have to face the truth of the reality and accept that that is what it is. And a lot of times when we in this illusion, we can't accept what it is because we don't want to. Again, because it breaks that perception that we're trying to control within ourselves, you know. Another thing that I would like to talk on real quick before we hit this 10-minute mark is it's a process to deal with that, whether you're dealing with the master manipulator or you are the master manipulator. For the master manipulator, the process is understanding that that's what you're doing, and then having that conviction to understand that it's not right. Because see, once you can accept that what you're doing and how you're being is wrong, not just to yourself but to others, you could be accountable to understand that you need to change. If you're dealing with a master manipulator, you have to realize that you can only focus on other people for with certain amount of energy before you lose yourself. And if you're dealing with someone that is manipulating you and draining you and just using you, abusing you, here's the thing: you have to create that space and distance no matter how much it hurts, because what hurts more, and this is from personal experience, what hurts more is when you lose yourself. When you lose yourself, when you let a person manipulate you so much that you lose yourself, you lose sight of yourself, you lose control of yourself, and you just are gone. It's not good. It's better to just pray for a person, address that person, and then dismiss that person. And I'm not saying dismiss them forever. If it's your will, we all have free will. So if you trust this person, you feel like this person is really making the changes, or you trust yourself and you feel like you're really done being that master manipulator, then that's when you can progress. That's when you can move forward. If not, the focus should be on either yourself or making the changes or addressing these things that need to be addressed to each other to prevent things from happening again. We have to be doing one another. So, as always, wake up, always be yourself, always love yourself. God loves you. And remember, life is beautiful when you allow it to be.